Alright guys, so the next step of this screwdriver project, once you have your screwdriver all done and finished, is packaging. So the first thing we did was injection molding. The second thing we're going to do is called vacuum forming. It's how we make our package. So when it's all said and done, our hope is to have a little project that kind of looks like this. So a nice neat little package. So to get things started here, first take your name flag off. You want to get rid of all that stuff. Don't leave any of this tape left over. We just want the screwdriver itself. Make sure you just do a visual inspection and have all those ridges where the flashing came out all done and finished. Next thing we'll have to do, grab a packaging card. They come in different colors. Just pick whichever one you would like. It doesn't matter. They all say the same exact thing. We're going to need a few different things on the very back of this. First, flip it over. Make sure it's right side up. I would prefer that you take a pen and do this. Take a pen and you're going to need two different things on the back. Your first and last name. And then next thing you're going to need is the section. And this is period. It could be either 2 or 8, depending on which section you're in. And those are the things that we're going to need. So your name, first and last, as well as the section, whether you're in period 2 or period 8. Then we're going to flip it over to the other side, where it says manufactured by blank. This is where you get creative with things and put in your own company name. Just make sure the name is school appropriate. So for me, I'm just going to make things a little bit silly here. I'm going to say French Fries Incorporated. So French. And try to be as neat as possible when you're doing this. That way it looks presentable. Fries INC, which is short for Incorporated. Just like that, as neat as you possibly can. Next thing we need to do, we need to attach our screwdriver to the packaging. So to do this, we're going to take it, and we're going to put a small little bead of hot glue in there. Just barely any at all. A very teeny tiny little dot. Just enough to hold it in place. That way it doesn't move when we vacuum form it. We're going to take it, the hot glue, put a small little teeny tiny dot on the very back. Not too much. Just a small little dot. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take it and center it. It doesn't matter if it's facing this way or the other way. Just work quick so the hot glue doesn't dry and cool down. Make sure it's centered left to right, up and down. Hold it with one finger for a few seconds. And after a few seconds are up, it should pretty much be on there. Just like so. That way it doesn't go anywhere. This just is a temporary hold. That way it doesn't move on us when we vacuum form, like I said earlier. So the next step is vacuum forming. Alright guys and girls, this is my vacuum forming machine. I have 2 of them. It doesn't matter. Just make sure before you use it, this thing is properly heated up. It has to be very, very hot. So the first thing you'll need to do is on the very front of this machine, I'm going to turn it around so you can see it just a little bit better, if I can. There's a turn dial, which is located right here. Let me grab the camera and actually give you a better shot here. So we have a turn dial where it says heat. So make sure you turn this dial the whole way to the right. That way it's ready to go. The vacuum always has to stay off and this red light should be on. Don't worry about this. This is just basically like a little circuit breaker in case something trips. So this should always be on and heated up and ready to go. So the next thing, after that's all said and done, there we go, is we have to get things set up here. First thing you'll do is we're going to open this up. Just like so, open up the frame. Sometimes you have to undo these little clamps here. Take the frame out, and it should say top this side up. Then the next thing, we're going to take this crank handle, crank it up to the very top, and then we'll take our screwdriver and our packaging and center it right in that area, just like so. Then very carefully and slowly lower it. Don't let it down so it lets like a big bang. After that, we're going to take our clear sheet of plastic, make sure it's cleaned off and nice and clear, ready to go. Sometimes you might have to wipe it off. It gets dusty sometimes. Place it so it's completely over top of this masking taped off area. And the bottom of the side up should be facing that way as well. We're going to take this other piece, place it on top like a big sandwich. Try to make sure that these holes line up, or these openings. Take the frame, pull it down. Take these clips, clamp them down, just like so. Make sure the heat is still on, by the way. Then the next step, this part back here, called the oven, is very hot. We need to basically put it over top of the plastic to soften it up. Now, there's this little there's like this little gate about right here. So when you pull this lever over the very top of it, might be hard to see, but you're gonna have to look in through the gate and look for that plastic. It'll turn like a like ripply a little bit, and then after it turns ripply, it'll smooth out and kind of drop a little bit. After that happens, you gotta be quick about this. After that happens, crank the handle up, hold it, do not let go, turn the heat off, turn the vacuum on, and hold this down. Hold it for a few seconds, turn the vacuum off, and this whole time you're holding this handle still so it doesn't go anywhere. Wait for it to cool down and stop, and you never, like I said, let go of this handle. Hold on to it the whole time. Sometimes people get a little bit scared and they let the whole thing drop. And one other thing I want to mention is if the heat's on, the vacuum does not work. The heat has to be off for the vacuum to work. Just like that, okay? So after that's done, we're going to just carefully lower it down, like so. Turn the heat back on for the next person. Loosen up these clamps on either side. Carefully open up the frame. It will be somewhat, I wouldn't say really hot, but it's going to be warm. Open up this top frame piece. You'll be able to take this piece right out. It's going to be warm, so don't be shocked. The metal part might be a little on the warm side. And you should have your package vacuum formed together just like this. What you're ideally looking for is this to be a nice, tight, even like vacuum formation the whole way around it. And it shouldn't be like bubbled over top, okay? If it was bubbled over top, that basically would symbolize that your oven was not hot enough or ready for it, okay? All right, so the very last step, we have to trim off this extra plastic. And when we're trimming, we're gonna be using a pair of scissors. Let's move this stuff out of the way so it's not in the way. We're gonna use a pair of scissors, and any scrap that's left over, just make sure that you throw it out in the trash can, don't leave it in a pile, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our scissors, cut right up to the very edge of the paper. Don't cut the paper off. And don't leave a small little gap. We're gonna cut the whole way around each side, go nice and slow, and take your time. And it's really easy if you do this like one small section at a time, just like that. Okay, we're gonna go through and do the other section. Same way. And you do all 4 sides total, 3, 4, until you have everything nice and trimmed out, like so. And try to make as nice and even as straight of a cut as possible. Cut along the edge, almost there, and we're done. Okay, next thing we're gonna have to do, these corners, they're pretty sharp still, so I have this nice little tool here called a corner rounder. What it does is it basically has like a sharp blade that comes down, chops the corner off, and rounds it. Put it up against the fence. There's 2 fences here, so put it up against and inside of the fence, just like so. Push down on the handle once, and after a punch, it should round over the corner, just like that. So do that to all 4 sides. Round over those corners. And if you don't get the corner rounded enough the first shot, you can always put it back through and do it a second time if you need to. That way it should be nice and clean. That's a lot more presentable like that, okay? So the very last thing you'll need to do to finish this off, because sometimes this has a tendency to separate and peel apart, is you'll need to take a stapler, and very carefully, we want to put a staple right in that dark area, about right there on either side, one on either side. You only need 2 staples in your project, 2, not more than that, and you want one on one side, one on the other side. So be careful, line everything up. Try to keep it as centered as possible. Push down, staple one side, and do the opposite side as well. Sometimes people like to go overboard and do staples on all sides. You just need 2. And the reason why we try to keep it in that dark line is so it kind of is hidden in a way. So, and just like that, you're finished with your project.